Honourable members, the motion has been moved. The chairman of the committee has also presented the committee's reports pursuant to Standing Order 1 through 7. A full debate shall arise on the principles of the bill on the basis of the explanatory memorandum and the report of the committee. Honourable member, the floor is now open. Yes, Honourable Emmanuel Kwesi Bajra, MP for Ho West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to also support the motion and also support this report. The principle behind the creation of the Legal Education Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who are not non-lawyers, who are desirous to become lawyers, Mr. Speaker, have this fear that after you've done even your PhD, you have to go back to the university to do your first degree, 3 years in law, after which you'll be admitted at Mokola, the so-called Mokola School of Law. And even that one, it is tedious. And so, majority of us who want to be lawyers are not able to penetrate into that legal environment. All because some group of people thinks that this is the preserve of some perceived people, and that if you do not belong to that group, you can never become lawyers. Mr. Speaker, for me, the report, the object of this bill states clearly, Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, paragraph 5, the object of the bill is to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training to regulate professional legal education in Ghana and provide a curriculum and standard for legal education. To achieve this objective, the bill proposed to move professional legal education and training from Ghana School of Law, known as Mokola, to accredited universities. It introduced law practice training to be offered by accredited universities. Mr. Speaker, this is a novel. It's a novel because, for me as a quantity surveyor, you are trained either at the technical universities, any of the technical universities, in a specified field, and then you write your professional exam. It is only in legal education that you have to go to Mokola, and if you don't qualify to go to Mokola, you cannot become a lawyer. What is this? And you have to be in the market all the time. Because of that, we have KJTM lawyers and Mokola lawyers. Now, we the KJTM lawyers, we want to become Mokola lawyers. And so, if my university, at the University of Health and Allied Sciences...
Who is a Mokola lawyer and who is a KJTM lawyer?
Mr. Speaker, you watch the movie on Ghana television, a comedy that says that we have KJTR lawyers.
We are not debating on the principle of movie. We are debating the explanatory memorandum and the report of the committee.
And so, Mr. Speaker, those of us who want to become lawyers have the opportunities now to at least gain admission to accredited universities to be given opportunities to be lawyers. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill wholeheartedly and ask all my colleagues to vote for this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bajra. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the report currently before the House on the reforms to our legal education in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, as a young lawyer, I would say that these reforms are late in coming. Mr. Speaker, some of us went through the system of legal education at the time that we can say the system was choked. In fact, we had to write serious exams, we had to go through interviews, all in an attempt to pass through a very narrow hole, which to me, Mr. Speaker, was brought upon us by our own selves. Mr. Speaker, legal education should be open to everyone, especially as a country that is on its forward march to becoming a full-fledged middle-income country. Mr. Speaker, legal education promotes legal awareness, and to the extent that it is imperative that as a society we become aware of the laws around us, there is every need for us to expand the scope of our legal education to give more opportunity to more people to become legally aware of the environment in which they live in. Mr. Speaker, until recently, the northern part of the country was never given the opportunity to have any form of legal education, even LLB. It was only until two years ago that the LLB program was introduced into the University for Development Studies. And I'm sure the first batch is even yet to graduate. So, Mr. Speaker, this reform, which would expand the scope and make even the professional level education available at these campuses, would further strengthen the Ghanaian populace, will further strengthen our legal education. And I am happy that these reforms are not only looking at training lawyers, but they are also strengthening the other stakeholders who are all involved in the provision of legal education in Ghana. And so, Mr. Speaker, I wish to commend the committee that put together this report, and more so with the extensive work that has been done in generating this report. I wish to commend them, and I call on all and sundry to join in embracing this call to expand the scope of our legal education in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Mie.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute towards the subject matter. Mr. Speaker, I would also say that this bill is long overdue. When I entered the university to read law some over 25 years ago, the system was different. The only university offering law at the time was the University of Ghana, which would admit 60 students. Then after what we used to call baptism by fire, that is the first university exams, there would be some sort of separation where the first 40 would read LLB and the next 20, making up the 60, would have a combination of law and some other course. It wasn't a problem at the time. Over the years, the mode of admission has been problematic to the extent that the legal profession has been in the news lately for not so good reasons. It's unfortunate. And if you look at the statistics, in 2021, out of the total number of students that wrote the exam, the entry exam, 72% failed. In 2019, 93% failed. In 2023, 67% failed. It is welcoming that we finally have a bill which is streamlining legal education in this country. It is long overdue, and I say it is very welcoming for the fact that it is going to increase access to legal education. My only concern is that I hope it will not open the floodgates for worse things to happen as we have in some of our neighboring countries. You go to some of these places and everybody you meet tells you he has an LLB and he's a lawyer. I won't mention names. Mr. Speaker, it is a good opportunity for all persons who intend to read law to go through the process, not to go through a rigorous process of writing examinations and attending interviews. It is a good idea that this bill is being passed, because at the end of the day, it is only the universities that meet a certain criteria which has been specified in the bill that would be allowed to run programs of that nature, which would also help us churn out quality lawyers, even though the volumes are going to be a little bit bigger than we are seeing currently. In that light, I hope that our economy, our system, and this government, including successive governments, would put in place measures to absorb the volumes that this system is going to produce. During our consideration of the bill, I raised an issue to the effect that if you look at some of our institutions, the number of lawyers in there are woefully inadequate. You take the AMA, for instance, take the Kumasi Metropolitan Authority or Assembly, also for instance. Sometimes you have as little as 2 lawyers in there. I hope that all these would be taken into consideration so that this wonderful bill we have today, at the end of the day, does not become one that would worsen our problems. Mr. Speaker, I am very grateful.
Thank you so much, honorable members. We now give the floor to Honorable, is it Walasi? Yes. Honorable Kweli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to add my voice to the report of the committee, and so doing, would I faithfully stand behind the legal education bill to say it's in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, from all the speakers who rose before me, it remains a fact that this bill is long overdue. As a lawyer who acquired even my earlier legal education not in Ghana, I've had some practical experiences outside Ghana. We have come to realize that the world has evolved beyond the static legal education that our common law fathers presented to us, may I say, the thereof, the thereafter, which had been handed over to us, for which even a lawyer-to-client ratio we have been unable to meet. This is not surprising that you go to court and your clients do not understand the basic legal principles for which they should answer you, a lawyer, for you to make reference to in arguing out your case. That is not a good society within the context of law. At least when the ratio of legal education, which means the ratio of lawyers to clients in the country, reflects the knowledge of the society on basic legal tenets of a particular society. And which means if we lack that ratio, by the fact that there are impediments in the way of more people acquiring legal knowledge, then we will lack that basic understanding as a country to move on in the process of our legal uprightness. Mr. Speaker, basically, education is about acquiring some knowledge and not a business in its entirety. But if you look at the Ghana legal system, it has become like an acquired business for which must be limited to a class or a people, a family, or a kind of cult. And that is the worrying situation. And that is where you see the complaints about students who have gone through LLB, which is the principles of law itself, but are unable to just run through the procedures of applying those principles. And that is the almighty Makola. In other jurisdictions, as I have been, legal education is free to all. But joining a bar association is where the professionals have their way of admitting those who want to practice with them. And if this bill and its reports is in that right direction, then Ghana is meeting up with the world. I'm a practicing lawyer in Rwanda. At least since 2018, I've been on the roll. The kind of education we have, I can't say has been that very strenuous like I had in Ghana. I earned my LLB with University of London. Those that handed the legal system to us. But even with Ghana legal system and constitutional law alone, I have not been stressed in University of London like I've been stressed there. And equitably, you could find out as a student that some of the impediments are just to take you off. I'm very glad the Attorney General and the committee as well have noticed all this and have come out with this report and have opened out the access that we can argue out our point and make the recommended amendments to the bill so that our country, Ghana, can also open its doors and as people can access knowledge in legal education. And when they want to practice, they can join the professional association as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's now the turn of Honorable Fifi Bachman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I humbly want to add my voice in calling upon honorable members to support the adoption of the report of the Committee on Constitution and Legal Affairs. Mr. Speaker, I must say that all procedural and institutional measures have been captured in the bill to ensure that quality legal education, both at the faculty and the practicing education, are captured. Mr. Speaker, this bill also shall be a great relief to parents and potential legal practitioners, as it will eliminate the psychological trauma which students go through as they go to face the almighty entrance exams at Makola. Mr. Speaker, this bill is one of the biggest reliefs to which His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is bringing in the legal fraternity or legal education fraternity. Mr. Speaker, it has been captured in the report, as has been captured in the report. Brilliant and professional ideas were sought. In fact, we had technical brains join the committee in deliberating over the bill. And respectfully, the discussions were very rich. The contributions were very apt to ensure that we come out with such a bill. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the Attorney General for this bold step, in coming out with this bill. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that legal education has also had its bite in the reset agenda of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the bill seeks to restore confidence by providing a clearer, more transparent, and predictable statutory framework. Mr. Speaker, it establishes an examination board that does not have anything to do with political interference. In fact, the examination board, as the bill seeks to provide or has established, would ensure that there is transparency, will ensure that there is equality and equity, will ensure that any person who wishes to go through the legal education, legal practice education to come out as a lawyer, comes out, without any fear or without any favor. And with this, I want to say that Ghana is blessed at this moment to have our Attorney General stand up boldly to say that this bill must come on. And I want to commend him again, commend the committee for the good work done, commend the institutions that availed themselves for us to have this bill presented before this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker, I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
I will then give the floor to Honorable James Enu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, let me also add my voice to support the adoption of the report of the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs on the Legal Education Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, the current law that regulates legal education now is Act 32 of 1960. So right from the word go, you can easily see that the law has outlived its usefulness, looking at the fact that it's been on for the past about even more than 60 years. Mr. Speaker, two things are very striking. If you look at our illegal education now, we had challenges with access, and we also had challenges with quality. Now, one of the main purposes of this bill is to ensure that we are able to increase access and we are also able to improve quality. So the bill seeks to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training that will be responsible for legal training in the country. And I think this is a very, very good step because it takes over something similar to the American system. Because prior to this, we have a situation where power, when it comes to regulation of legal education and regulation of legal profession, was concentrated in the General Legal Council. But now we are going to break this monopoly of the General Legal Council to make sure that there is shared oversight responsibility. Mr. Speaker, I think that this is a very good step. So I pray that the House adopts this report accordingly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minority Leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I would have wished to peruse this report critically before making some comments. I think that legal education, there is the need for reforms, but there is also no need to rush the report, like I indicated earlier. So I'd rather waive any commentaries on this. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Before coming to the leader, I want to give the floor to Honorable Vundi. It's not in the chamber. Yes, Honorable Roxanne Nelson. You are not on the list.
Yes, leadership, Mr. Speaker, before the minister comes in.
So you are speaking for leadership?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said you would speak. No. Okay.
So the two of you.
Mr. Speaker, then I rise on my own merits.
I am inclined to decline.
Mr. Speaker, it's a special appeal.
You have the
Special
floor.
appeal. Special appeal.
You have the floor.
We'll take Jerry's time.
You have the floor. In view of the fact that Jerry decided not to come.
Great. Mr. Speaker, let me indicate that law is a tool for social engineering, and it's become important that we do this to respond to the current social concerns in the country. Speaker, for some time now, you and I will draw you into this. We waged this battle from our 2017-2018, when news filtered through that there were some issues within the admission protocols of the Ghana School of Law, to the extent that our committee, which were deputy ranking at the time and later ranking, had to be engaged. This matter came here. We made interventions. Eventually, we succeeded in taking interview out of the process, so that if you write the exams and you succeeded, then you could gain admission. But another troubling event occurred, that to the extent that persons who didn't even write the exams at all got admitted, so much so that the General Legal Council itself saw it fit to set up a subcommittee. The disciplinary committee had to set up a subcommittee to look into this matter, and a report was generated. It was established that as many as 11 students or more got in through the back door. That phrase was what was captured in the report. So it generated a lot of debates to ask for reforms. And the current Attorney General, then the ranking member, I believe, we even got together to do a private members bill in the 7th and 8th Parliament. We didn't succeed, but today I'm happy we are here. So it's important that we bring reforms, but we are not saying it is an easy route to freedom. No. The exams will still be tough, the exams will still be stiff, but we are opening access, we are increasing the access that persons can have the opportunity to sit for the national bar exams once you are adequately prepared by your various faculties. So, Speaker, this is a major policy decision by the government, and I'm happy that the House is prepared to move to, when we adopt the report by the committee, we'll do consideration, deal with the issues, the many amendments that have been proposed, we'll deal with them. And so that we can eventually take it through the third reading and have it passed. Speaker, what is important is that in terms of quality, the faculties and the various schools, as they want to be called these days, are being put on notice because the deans have been involved, that you must enhance your libraries, you must enhance your faculty members' qualifications and all that. All those criteria will be set by the law. So they've instituted processes to enable those who don't have those minimum requisite qualifications to quickly do so. So it's a major reform. And Speaker, you'll be surprised to hear that some of the LLB holders that we produce here, who are denied by some limitations from gaining access to our only professional law school now, they travel to the Gambia, they top the class. Even if they don't top the class, they are among the upper quarter qualifying, picking the awards. They go to Rwanda, they pick awards. They go to Malawi, Botswana, because we are of the same common law jurisdiction. They do well. Sierra Leone, and now I'll leave that for my boss to comment on. You meet our students, and they are passing the bar in those jurisdictions with flying colors. The tragedy is that when you come back home, you cannot be entered onto the role of lawyers here because you have to do what we call the post-com. The post-call is so expensive. And I don't know how come it's pegged at £6,000 for many years, but it's pegged at £6,000 equivalent in cedis. So you may take the opportunity to go and train in the law outside. When you get back home, it's expensive to really do the post-call. And so it's become another avenue to sieving the ordinary person's opportunity from qualifying. So, Speaker, I won't say much because the fights, the battles that we waged today, we are seeing is coming to fruition and we are happy. So we want to say thank you to all the stakeholders, Speaker, including yourself. I know the things we went through, but we shepherd this, deal with the amendments and have it passed so that the reforms can be implemented. We are not saying it's a foolproof system, but it will come with some challenges. We'll have the opportunity to tidy them up as we implement the new reform legislation. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. And this is well anchored in Article 25, Mr. Speaker, 25(1) D.E. thereabout of the Constitution. So it's well anchored in our constitutional provisions that we must create wider access, equitable access, equal opportunities for our educational opportunities that are available in this country. Speaker, with these words, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Let me join colleagues to recommend to this House to adopt this report because year after year, the issue of access to professional legal education has been a problem, a perennial problem. And this House received several petitions from association of students who had written the examination, who had failed to get into the law school, and who felt unfairly treated. And at that point, I recall that even the General Legal Counsel had to carry out some reforms in the examination process with a view to introducing some level of accountability, fairness, and justice in the process. But once it dealt with the issues of accountability in the writing of the exams, the marking of the scripts, and the determination of results, it did not deal fundamentally with the question of access. That question was a function of the structure of the system. When we were students, we got into the law faculty automatically, not automatically, we got into the law faculty after sixth form. And at that time, there was only one law faculty in the whole country, the law faculty of the University of Ghana. So all the sixth form schools in the country, after you wrote WAEC, A-level, the law faculty will take only 100 students. 100 students. Only 100 students for the first year. For the first year. To determine whether you will be a law student to graduate with LLB or not, you had to do well in first year university exams. If you did well in first year university exams, you were likely to fall among the first 60. And it is the first 60 who were offered the LLB degree, the course. The rest will be BA students. They will be sent to all the other faculties, but they will be allowed to do certain courses like jurisprudence and etc. at the law faculty, which automatically enable them to go to the Makola, those days we call it law school.
Leader, yours is better. In our case, 150 students, and at the end of the first university examination, they will admit 60, 90 must find their way outside the law faculty.
Yeah. So, at different stages, you will see that the mechanism for sieving took place at different levels. In the past, it was getting into the university itself. Once you got to the university law faculty and you managed to scale through first year, invariably, all those who scale through first year will end up at the Ghana School of Law. That was the practice. Then, later on, as we liberalized, private universities emerged, and they also started running law degree programs. And their products also wanted to go into Makola. And that is how, initially there was exams actually for mature students, those who had degrees and were workers and wanted to go into Makola, yes. They wrote exams to come in. But then as the private universities started offering law degrees and there was pressure, that's how the system was open so that at least they could also participate in the exams in order to get into Makola Law School. And that is where we started having the problems. So what government has decided to propose to this House to consider is that since we have liberalized tertiary education and we have many private universities offering law degrees and they've been accredited to offer law degrees, then we cannot maintain a monopoly of the legal education program in the Ghana School of Law. We need to open up that monopoly. So all the other universities, if they meet the appropriate criteria and standards, they will also be accredited to run programs that will allow their products to automatically write the bar exams. So this is the greatest opportunity that could ever be offered. The only thing is that we must ensure that all those universities that offer law degrees maintain the requisite standards. Because we don't also want, in the process of liberalizing, to allow standards to fall. So that is the major issue that in this legislation we must tighten to ensure that law faculties accredited to offer the program must maintain the standards. That way, every university that has a law faculty can have their products write the bar exams, and then if they pass, they will be called to the bar, enrolled. Let me indicate that we are not saying that many more people will pass the bar exams. And we're also not saying that it will lead to an automatic increase in the number of people to be enrolled every year. The only thing we are guaranteeing is that everybody who has a law degree from a university accredited to offer law will have an opportunity to also write the bar exams. That, I think, is what we are guaranteeing. The second issue of increasing the numbers is a function of the regulators. So we try as much as possible to look at how we can increase the numbers. If you look at the ratio of lawyers to the population, it is very, very, very high. In most jurisdictions, in America, in most European countries, in Canada, you have invariably a ratio of 1 lawyer to about 300 people. In most jurisdictions. Here, the reports I'm getting is an indication that it is 1 lawyer to 2,000. In fact, some say 5,000. Some say 5,000 to 7,000. But I've also seen statistics that place it at, 2,000. But if you look at all those who have graduated, we don't know how many who have passed on. But if you look at the role, you may use that. But the question is whether they are actually in the country. So yes, your statistics may indicate that, oh, if you look at all those who have been qualified and then you divide the population by that number, you may get 2,000. But the reality may be that there are many who are not in the jurisdiction. So the actual ratio could be the 5,000, 7,000 to a lawyer. And so we need to also increase the numbers so that district assemblies, companies, corporations, traditional authorities can all have access to lawyers, because in all these places where there is some administration of justice, what happens invariably is that the absence of lawyers tend to delay proceedings and speedy, trials. And so we need to increase the numbers. So I recommend to colleagues that we should approve and adopt this report. Later on, when we go to consideration stage, we will look at all the proposals and find ways of fine-tuning them to produce a legislation that will stand the test of time. We are not the first to do this. This has been the practice in the United States for a very long time. So it's not new. There shouldn't be fears by those in the profession. I have always said that maintaining professional standard is not just a function of the training program. Professional standards are even better maintained by the judges in the courtroom. Because when your teachers have finished with you, depending on how you pass exams, there are many of us who will wait, and the day before will commit everything to memory, go pass, and the following morning we forget. So depending on how you pass the exams, the training itself in the classroom is no guarantee that you will maintain standards. It is the vigilance of the judges in court that will get the practicing lawyers to sit up, do the right thing, and then the standards will improve. And then the Bar Association also making sure that law firms are well organized, so that in law firms you will have seniors who will have time to tutor and train the younger ones so that they will improve their performance in the profession. So it's a lifelong thing, starting from the training in school to training in the courtroom and training in the law firm and at the bar. So if you just focus on education alone and fear that standards will fall because you are opening the floodgates in terms of access to writing the exams, I don't think that would be a fair analysis. Even in America where they are doing it, there's no indication that professional standards are low. So I urge colleagues to adopt the report, and I want to commend the Minister for bringing this bill to Parliament. This is a major promise of the NDC government. The NDC government has promised all those holding degrees in law that we will create a fair and equitable platform that will give them access to being called to the bar. And we are living up to our promises and our commitments. And that is why this bill is here. And I want to assure the students out there that we will do whatever it takes within this meeting of this Parliament to have this legislation enacted into law. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, before putting the question and to avoid taking part in the debate, some of us have suffered a lot and can only say this bill is coming at the right time. Honorable members, there are instances where in the budget it will be indicated the number of students that will be enrolled into the Ghana School of Law and at the same time, they will budget the number of students that will fail. So sitting at the middle of the third row, we have difficulty. Because if you say you'll be admitting 200 students, but out of the 200 students, 100 will be called to the bar before the examination, you are telling me 100 will fail. So we had our own challenges, and I believed this is the way to address the issue. With this, I'll put a question. AG, you want to conclude?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to take the opportunity to thank honorable members, the able chairman of my Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs, for the good work that has been done on this bill, and for all the commendations. I was very happy that my colleague, the Honorable Tony Mia, said that this was a wonderful opportunity coming from the opposition. I thought that was very reassuring. And this is because the bill, as the Honorable Majority Leader has pointed out, it accords with the letter and spirit of the Constitution in Article 25 to create equality of opportunity for every one of our citizens desirous of becoming lawyers. The Honorable Majority Leader has described how strenuous it was for people to become lawyers in the past. But though it was a very strenuous system, it also guaranteed automatic entry to the law school if you were qualified enough to go through the LLB program. What this bill does is to clear the bottleneck, which is the monopoly of the Ghana School of Law, and also the so-called entrance exam that made it virtually impossible for even students who graduated with first class from very reputable universities to get into the Ghana School of Law. So, Mr. Speaker, the innovations introduced by this bill are very clear for everyone to see. We are introducing an accreditation program that will make sure that it is not every mushroom LLB school that will produce lawyers who will go on to write the bar exam. There will be accreditation and quality control to ensure that if there is a university producing LLB candidates, those candidates would have gone through a training that is either equivalent to or better than what I went through or what the Majority Leader went through before becoming lawyers. Mr. Speaker, we are also introducing the National Bar Exam so that those who go through the law practice training course at the universities, the accredited universities, can all write the National Bar Exam, which will be a standardized exam, that will be administered by the Council for Legal Education and its Bar Examination Committee. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Majority Leader has already made it abundantly clear that it is not true that this country has too many lawyers. There is this misperception out there that there are too many lawyers in this country. As the Honorable Majority Leader has pointed out, in the United States of America, the lawyer to residents or citizen ratio is 4 lawyers to 1,000 residents or 1,000 citizens in America. Here, it is 1 lawyer to 5,000 plus citizens. And so, Mr. Speaker, there is no oversupply of lawyers in this country. And so what the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing is to create a system that will provide equality of opportunity for everyone who desires to be a lawyer, but at the same time maintain quality control such that we'll be producing some of the best lawyers on this planet Earth. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge everyone to support the motion for the adoption of the report, and also to actively take part, especially the lawyers, take part in the refinement of the bill, so that when it comes out and it is passed into law, it will be one that will stand the test of time. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for this opportunity, and I thank members for their participation.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is as many as are in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted.
An act to establish the Council for Legal Education and Training to regulate legal education in the country, provide the curriculum and standards for legal education, and provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Legal Education Reform Bill 2025 is accordingly read a second time. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think we were scheduled to start at 12. So, so far as the records are concerned, it was 12. We were late, but it was 12. So, technically, we've done 5 hours. So, we're in your hands.
Honourable Majority Leader, I beg to differ. So, you may move a motion for amendment, for adjournment.
Well,
So you move a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House be adjourned to tomorrow, 12 in the noon.
Yes.
Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded, and it is for the consideration of the House. As many as are in favor of the adjournment, motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, this House is accordingly adjourned till Wednesday, 4th February 2026 at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, following the ayes having it.
Live pictures from Parliament House, where the House resumed today after the break for the Christmas celebration. Members of Parliament resumed today. A number of issues raised, especially the legal education bill, which was laid before the House and is being considered by members of Parliament to expand legal education here in the country. God willing, tomorrow Parliament will also continue sitting and other bills will be considered. It started today with the leadership of the House, the majority leader and the minority leader separately addressing members of the parliamentary press corps in relation to activities that the House is expected to embark upon this year or this sitting as far as they have resumed for the next 8 weeks. Top among us is the decision to rename the Kotoka International Airport from its current name to the Accra International Airport. The House will also have the bill for the 24-hour economy being laid before the House for consideration and passage, and other bills, as the majority leader in the House, Mahama Ayariga, said when he met the members of the Parliamentary press corps. And that's our coverage for today's edition of the Parliamentary sitting. We'll come back tomorrow for more from Parliament. My name is Sami Wiafe, and this is Channel One Television.